What about Brock Purdy? It's not like he was making Kyle look great this year. Now, Kyle used to make his life a lot easier. Christian McCaffrey certainly made his life a lot easier in the past. It was a tougher season for Brock. Really struggled in the second half of games. He threw some awful interceptions when they needed him to like not throw awful interceptions. So how would you assess his season?
I mean, it to me, it all comes from what's the baseline of the conversation. I think at this point, the baseline of the conversation is we're judging him on, is he a franchise caliber quarterback or is he not? Again, if we're judging him off of, yeah, he's a decent starting caliber quarterback and he was the last pick in the draft, it's like, yeah, probably a B+ season because what the hell else would you expect? But we're talking about a player here that's supposed to be the franchise guy, that his agent is in people's DMs saying, we're not taking the Baker Mayfield deal. Absolutely not. And then for 3 straight games after that, we watch him piss away games with interceptions down the stretch. Like, okay, so if that's how we're judging him, then C-. I mean, there were some good things. Even in this last game, man, that throw to Garindo was arguably the best throw he's ever made.
Super
great
nice
throw.
Yep.
But then it's like, man, 2 picks, an underthrow to Pearsall. It's like, man, there's just no consistency. And when games are on the line, no consistency. When there's bad weather, you're not playing well. And you can't, your right arm
it's man coverage
healthy. Yeah. It's just, there's so much, man. There's just so many red flags. And it's like, you know what I feel like? I feel like if you're a 49er fan that's just like, yeah, man, Brock's the guy, or you're the organization or you're people in the organization, you're like, yeah, Brock's the guy. We got to pay him. I feel like, and we've all had this friend that's had a really bad relationship, but they're so in love and they can't see it. And you're like, dude, like, she's not good for you. Let me tell you, there's this. No. You don't understand our relationship. You just don't understand. And then it's like, okay, well, at some point we can't even tell you anymore because you're delusional about it. So we just talk about how bad your relationship is amongst us, but you're in a really bad relationship. And then eventually when you break up with her, you're like, dude, you were so right. And you start like telling us all the things that we saw and said all along. Like, that's what I feel like is happening with Brock Purdy. It's like, there's so many red flags and everybody's like, yeah, but no, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, look at all these other great things that Brock does. We should just pay him whatever. I mean, look how bad it's been in the past. Like, no, man, there's so much going wrong. So I don't know. C- is what I would give Brock.
It's such an interesting year for me. I mean, it's such an interesting year for him to me because we understand his numbers being down. Ayuk's gone. McCaffrey's gone. And when Ayuk was here, he wasn't really Ayuk because he wasn't in football shape. So obviously it was tougher this year. But still, I think we would have liked to see him not be a complete flop in the fourth quarter or second half of these close games. Like, there's so many examples of him being the reason they lost when he didn't need to be. Or it would have been like, all he needed to do was score 13 points against the Rams and the rest of the season would have been forgiven. That's how low the bar was. Score 13 points against the Rams. But no, he threw that pick into triple coverage at the end while they were in field goal range. And on and on and on. Like, every single time they were in a close game in the fourth quarter in Miami with the season over, it seemed like he choked. He choked in 2 games that didn't count down the stretch. And I'm starting to look at him as a guy who, like, he's fine when they're up big. He's fine in the first half, but he's not good under pressure, which means he's not going to be the kind of guy who brings you back. And that means he's not a franchise quarterback. So not good enough. D+.
So there's a lot of talk about Kyle Shanahan's play calling, and deservedly so, the 16 straight passes. But a lot of that was like when they were down 2 scores as well, right? And so you look at like what led up to that. There was probably like a 9-pass stretch where it's like, okay, you probably could have added a run in somewhere. But the league average in pass attempts is like 32-ish. Brock Purdy has 15 career games where he's thrown at least 30 passes. So not even league average, just 30 passes.
We're not talking
you
40.
Realize,
yeah,
not 40, not you have to go shoulder, just 30 or more passes.
These are shootouts.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're right. So where we're asking you to be the guy. So we have the fourth quarter stat where it's like, dude, if the game's close one way or another, you're not playing well. But the other stat we can look at is when you're asked to go be the reason to go win games. In 15 career games with 30 plus attempts, he's had 0 interceptions in just 3 of those games. He's had multiple interceptions in 6 of those 15 games, Grant. Like, when you're asked to be the reason, you are not the reason that you're winning. You're the reason, or at least adding to the reason that they're not winning. You can't be the reason that they're not winning. And that's what he's been this year. He's contributed in a negative way too many times over. You can blame the offensive line. You can blame whatever you want to blame.
The kicker.
But is he contributing in a positive manner or is he not? And when you're turning the ball over at this rate in crucial situations, you are not contributing in a positive manner. You're just not.
Yeah, when you have more interceptions and touchdown passes in the second half for your career, that's a problem. It happened this year. It's been a trend since he's got here. When they can pile up big leads in the first half, he's good. But a lot of quarterbacks would be good. I mean, again, he's gotten so much credit for being better than Trey Lance and being better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Although the season that Brock Purdy just had was statistically a Jimmy Garoppolo copy and paste job. And frankly, in terms of the win-loss record, Jimmy never, ever had a season like this.
Do you remember what we used to say about Jimmy? Like, what was the joke about Jimmy? You came up with it. It was
he was the arsonist and the firefighter.
But he was the firefighter.
Yes, he was. There was something about
Brock
that
ever been the
mediocre
firefighter?
Quarterback where he was kind of clutch because he didn't remember that. He literally forgot. He would show up to the scene of the crime, and be like, "Who freaking did this? I want to know. You should point him out." It's like, Jimmy, it was you. What? No, I was eating dinner. No, Jimmy, you came here with a flamethrower. But then he would put it out. It was incredible.
Yeah. He's super bipolar. He had no idea, actually. Split personality, everything.
You know what one of the best things about week 18 coming up? He's going to play. I can't wait. It's been a while. I miss Jimmy Garoppolo. And part of me wants the Jimmy Garoppolo redemption story. Like, I know it's going to be a bad movie, but I'll spend $15 to watch Jimmy Garoppolo too. You know what I mean? It's like Bad Boys 5. It's like, okay, they're 55 and they can't really fight crime like they used to, but it's the same jokes and they're funny. I want to watch Jimmy Garoppolo 2, 3.
So looking forward to it.
It's too bad that he couldn't play against the Niners, but you know what? I'll take what I can get.